So I'm riding one of my prototypes, probably the fifth or sixth board that I built. This one's really lightweight, and I'm now toe side carving to my hillside rail now. The board changes trim as I switch rails, and now I'm headed upwind in the wind shadow of the outer island at Sherman Island, and I'm about to do a bottom turn here where I power loop the kite into a toe side turn that feels like a bottom turn on a good size wave. And there it goes. Now I'm over on the toe side. It's hard to see here, and I just switched to my heel side because I can pull up wind better on my heel side rail. I get more leverage onto the rail. And I'm headed in the wind shadow of the island. You can see the island off to my right here. And I am flying a 11-meter kite on short lines, 17-meter lines, which is shorter than almost everyone flies when they're using a board like this, which is sort of a blend of surfboard and twin tip. So now I'm headed up on my hillside. I'm going to flip it around. Now I'm on my toe side, and I carve, drop the kite down. You see how I like to fly it low so I get a good lateral pull against the board, and I'm headed up into this one little area of smooth water on this side of the sandbar, and I drop the kite and I carve into another toe side carve or bottom turn, flip the board around immediately to pull up wind a little higher. I can actually go upwind really well on the toe side, but what this allows me to relax a little bit since I'm not as strong as I was last summer. Anyway, now I'm carving off my heel side, flipped it over, and the asymmetry of the board allows me to really get upwind. And I believe they go upwind much better than your traditional twin tip or surfboard. There's the bottom turn. And a little tight turn, and then I flip the board over while I still have wind in the kite, and then I have to fly the kite fairly high just to get past the island, because if you fly your kite too low it won't have wind in it, because I'm in the wind shadow in the lee of the island. That's what sailors call the lee. Kiteboarders call it the wind shadow. And there, whoop. You see, I'm controlling the pivot speed of the kite using my lines. I have straps coming off my bar that I can just grab. And you can see the weeds hanging off of me there because I was in the weeds when I took off. And there I am going by the sandbar again and headed up tight towards the corner here. I'm going to get out into the wind before I carve my turn, so I don't run out of power. And I'm well into the wind now, and I'm reaching up to grab my strap here in a second. There, boop, I pull it and pivot the kite. You see the kite almost hit the water, and then I bring the kite up high as I come into the lee of the island. And you can see that shoulder strap that I'm wearing has my iPhone on the front of my chest, but the video wasn't very good on that. I'll have to work more to get video of that. I wanted to be able to simultaneously post a video of what I'm doing with my hands. Alright, there's another carving backside turn, just like a cutback when you're coming back into the wave, on a good sized wave. And I'm going to be motoring past this sandbar again. There I go, headed up to the island here. You can see all the tule weeds to my left. They block the wind, but I get out of the wind shadow right here into the more choppy water where the wind is steady and low against the water. And I can carve a bottom turn, and I flip the board around again, so I'm inside, pulling up tight into the island, more or less. Sometimes I like to go right under the tule weeds, but with this sandbar here, it's problematic. You gotta go out to get around it. Just at low tide. High tide, it's submerged. Here I'm gonna carve another cutback in a second. I'll grab my right strap. Going out there ways. Whoop. Pulled it and I let go of both lines there. Keep my balance over the board. I'm headed up into that little lee area. I'm pulling up high, close to the island. I'll do a turn right here by the sandbar. There it is. Whoop. I lose a little wind in the kite sometimes right there. So I have to fly the kite up high, especially while I switch rails, because that creates some friction that slows me down. And now I'm going to pull another cutback here. I can do this all day long, folks. It's just like surfing, but no interference. There's a cutback. This is total surfer's bliss. I just need to get a couple of surfers that know how to kite to try my boards, and I never want to go back to surfing because you don't have to fight any crowds for a wave, and you are just non-stop carving. There's another toe side carve. You can see my weight behind me. I pull upwind and I switch rails to get up higher upwind. The perspective of the angle to the wind isn't that great. I'm going to take a piece of yarn and tie it to my line so I can see. That would be cool. Then you can see the angle of the wind relative to my position better. You can see my gray hair blowing in the breeze there. There I'm going past the wind shadow to get out. Yeah, I'm kind of running off the wind, I think. This is the part where I start pulling S-turns downwind. Yeah, I'm headed to the other island. There's two islands out here in Sherman Island. And I'm going to be doing some... There, you can see now I've left the upper island way behind me up there on the right-hand side. I'm doing S-turns, basically running downwind to get to that lower island. This is the end of the video. I appreciate you staying with me. Now you can see how easy it is to go over the weeds here with these boards in mind. You only have one little fin, so there's very little drag. So these boards are ideal for shallow water where there's a lot of weeds. Okay, and here I'm in the shallow wind shadow of this smaller island. And I think this clip is about to end. Thanks for watching. We'll see one more turn here. One more cut back. And that's it. Thanks for watching.